What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 124 of the Clever and Original Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kody Misialek. Alongside me, the man with the plan, Jayden Reinhart.
Hello, my plan. I don't have one this week. I'm sorry. I'm not
you don't
much
seem
of a
to have
man
a
of
plan
that.
a
Yeah.
lot. Maybe.
Well,
when will the
I
plan
had a plan,
happen?
but I completed it early. I watched The Punisher, and so
Yeah, how would
so
you
now
think
I'm
of that?
like in between plans right now, and it's weird. It was good. It was really good. I kind of wish I watched it before last podcast.
Watch the
when
hit
we
shonen
talked about
anime
it, but-
Naruto, and Naruto.
Did you?
Sorry,
what you
700 episodes.
Just
And,
skip all the filler. It's like half that.
and
much.
Oh, so
then,
350.
Something like that. I've watched most of them at this point. I still have to
Jesus.
finish it. But
and the Naruto lover over here, JJ Larson.
yeah, funny story about that.
Yeah.
There was a post. It was in this group I'm in that said that was like Donald Trump makes anime real. And it was like, what would you do if this happened? And my comment immediately was like, I'd Rasengan all my enemies so hard. And you'd get that if you saw the
what?
show. It's very funny.
Okay.
You know, it's like a blue spinny thing. You know,
Oh,
you
dude.
go like whoosh, and you like whoosh, and they just
Right in the face.
shit happens to him. Yeah,
Damn.
bad
Is it-
things happen.
Is it like a spinny blade thing?
Well, it's like a spinny like ball that you
Okay.
hold and you like ram it into somebody, or you can also.
Oh no, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And I watched Let's Play of a Naruto fighting game.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. It's like instead of punching them, they slap them with this ball.
yeah. They like
Okay.
hold the ball and then you ram it into their like stomach or some
Okay.
shit. And they
Weird.
just-
Weird.
it's like ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad things happen. They probably die.
Mhm.
That's sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Unless they're a ninja master.
Well, I mean, then they can do other things. You can escape that.
Yeah. Big ninjas.
By turning into a log.
That happens a lot. People turn into logs and escape everything.
Yep.
If you haven't listened to us before, we're the Clever and Original Podcast. We talk about comic book, movie type stuff, video game type stuff, particularly in that order.
And logs.
Just going right into no, it's kind of
Logs.
segue. Yeah, so not much on the dock this week. Very slow week in news, probably because it was
Yeah.
Thanksgiving this past week.
Yeah.
People eating
Makes a lot of
turkey and
sense.
being tired.
Tired, sleeping, eating to their heart's content.
I slept like 4 different times that day. It was great.
See, I didn't sleep at all on that
Really?
day. No.
No, I stayed up the whole day. I drank a lot that night. That was kind of a weird. Not that weird, I guess. I just like it
I
never
know people
Because
do
it's
that,
just a
never-
normal night for
It
you.
just never occurred, sort of. It never occurred to me when I was younger that, like, you know, after Thanksgiving, everybody goes, cause no one's doing anything, right?
right.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah,
going to
everyone
stay
just-
with their families all night, so they just go and, like, party and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just didn't occur to me, but good stuff.
So one big piece of news in movies, and the only one really in movies this week, is pertaining to the Captain Marvel movie. The reports are that Jude Law will be joining, or is in talks, negotiations, if you will, to be the male lead opposite Brie Larson, who is playing the title Captain Marvel. And then Ben Mendelsohn is on board to play the villain. So with Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck directing, and obviously Kevin Feige producing, as he always seems to does. Marvel had no comment, though, on this. Reports are that the male lead in this one, which I would assume it will be Mar-Vell, the Kree soldier who's on Earth,
Mhm.
doing his thing. And that's how Captain Marvel gets her powers. So, spoilers. So
It's cool, though, you know? I like Jude Law.
Sam Jackson is also going to be in it as Nick Fury, set in the 90s. And it's going to come out on March 8th, 2019. So, about a year and a half now. So, thoughts on Jude Law probably playing Mar-Vell, and I guess some Ben Mendelsohn playing the villain.
Good actor, you know, has done a lot of things in the past. I mean, I'm sure Marvel knows what it's doing at this point, so I'm excited to see. I'm not too familiar with the Captain Marvel kind of origin story.
I
So
could
I'm
go
just kind
into
of-
it if you want.
I'm just
I
kind of.
mean,
I know, like she gets
people
her
can-
powers from Mar-Vell, but
right.
like I don't know the specifics, and I may or may not.
Was it like a
read it
mentor
by then.
thing?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like,
Like, I can go
He
into
hands it
specifics
down
unless,
to her
I
or
guess
something?
the audience might not want that. if
Yeah,
they
I mean,
wanna be
Yeah,
on.
you guys
Yeah.
can look it up. Go
But-
to Google.
But
I'm
excited for the actor.
for
though. I
for
like
a
him.
shortened version, I guess. Explosion.
Mhm.
She's about like probably gonna die. Anyway, he like gives her it's like blood transfusion or whatever, to save her life, and she gets like Kree blood in her, so she basically it changes her DNA to become half Kree, and so there you go.
That's cool. I like that.
I've actually seen a surprising amount of like that kind of story recently, where like some kind of power is handed down via like DNA.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as uncommon as you'd think.
Yeah, but in regards to Jude Law, I think that's pretty good.
Good choice. Yeah. Big ticket
Yeah,
actor.
yeah,
so.
obviously.
Watson and Sherlock Holmes.
Right. Yeah. Done some great stuff before.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for this film. I can't wait. Also, I'm kind of curious as to see what Ben Mendelsohn will be playing. I don't think it really says what he'll be playing, but he's just like the villain, generic villain. I assume it's going to be a Skrull because we already had talked about like Skrulls just being up in there, which might explain a throwaway line in The Winter Soldier about Nick Fury not trusting people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. I just can't wait for this film. One of my favorite characters. I'd say top 5 Marvel characters.
Yeah.
Although my list of top 5 Marvel characters is like 20 characters. So like, maybe it's not really a top 5, but
Top 5 out of 20. Yeah.
Yeah. So just 20 characters in my top 5.
Yeah.
So
Well, that'd be 20 out of 5 then. Yeah.
yeah,
Not 5 out of 20.
a perfect 20 out of 5.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
Captain Marvel seems sweet.
Yeah.
Good actors. Good to see Marvel hiring good actors.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of expected at this point, but
Yeah, I mean, they
Reassurance
have
is
like
nice.
infinite budget,
yeah.
and people just go like if you slap Marvel Studios on a movie, people will go see
They
it.
could
Yeah,
probably
oh, I
hire
mean-
Obama
Yeah,
to be
that's
the
just-
president in a film if they
This
wanted to.
is,
That'd probably be pretty
Since he's not
expensive.
actually, but they could. They just
Yeah.
fucking do it. Whatever. They don't
So-
give a shit.
So I guess since you mentioned the Marvel thing, it kind of brings into like a second topic that's somewhat news is the Justice League box office had $40 million over Thanksgiving weekend, and then had like a $90 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
And so it looks like Justice League will, I think they'll lose money. I mean,
Well, not counting overseas.
right, yeah,
So they will make money,
but not much. And basically, a very disappointing showing for them.
mm-hmm.
I guess like what's the difference between kind of a sub-juice topic when we get down in there for later in the show, but just more right now, I guess. Like what do you think is the difference between like a Marvel film and a DC film? Like what does Marvel do that gets everyone to just jump right
I
in?
think it's like consistent quality is kind of the issue here, is that so far Marvel has had, for the most part, consistently enjoyable movies to see. And DC has not done that so far. Wonder Woman was quite good, and the box office numbers for that showed, I'd say. But they're not. I don't think audiences have not attached to the DC films as much, because they haven't, despite what some super fans would say, they haven't been as good as the Marvel ones.
Right.
They obviously haven't been, just because the people, not as many people are going to see them. The reviews in general are much worse.
Well,
It's not like, and people got really excited for stuff like Batman vs Superman, right?
yeah.
But once they got burned on Suicide Squad, it's like I don't think people are jumping for another DC film. Like they'll go out and see Doctor Strange, even though they don't know who Doctor Strange is,
Yeah.
because Marvel Studios is on it and it's getting good reviews.
I think another part of it too isn't just that they're not getting attached to the movies, but also not getting attached to the characters.
Yeah.
Because Marvel's had plenty of time to like flush out their characters, give their audience like a good idea of like their story and their feelings and their thoughts, so you really like understand each of the characters. So then when they throw them in these situations, there's a lot that can just be implied.
Right. Yeah.
That that makes it way more interesting to watch. While DC, it seems like they're trying to play catch up. And so they're just jumping right into it without really flushing out the character. And I think in Wonder Woman, why it was so good is because it was easy for them to flush out Wonder Woman and give her like a lot of character and like feeling in a time of war, because that's a very dramatic time for any character in any movie. So it was easier for them to like, paint her for the audience. But they haven't really done that with other characters. They're just super beings that do super stuff,
Right.
Instead of feeling conflict.
Yeah, one thing I guess I was talking with one of my coworkers about, I guess Marvel in general.
Yeah.
And like, it's sort of, or I guess, and kind of this topic, but it was like, Marvel has gained this like trust. Like, people have invested time into it. It's been a decade now.
Yeah.
Once Infinity War comes out, it will be 10 years.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got people spent 10 years of their life, like, invested in these characters. Like you look at it, and I think a lot of this, like, has been mentioned before and probably maybe a little bit too much, but the fact that Marvel does the solo films first before like putting them up into team ups. I mean, obviously there's some exceptions, like the side characters like War Machine, Falcon, or just Scarlet Witch and Ultron, or no Vision, and Quicksilver. But I mean, exceptions. But I think also the fact is that those characters work better in that situation because you've had so much time with the other characters that the fact how they interact with them, with like say Captain America or Iron Man, says a lot without doing much, right? Like, like you know how much like you know a lot about Tony Stark and Steve Rogers and stuff, and when you see like a character like the Vision interact with Tony Stark, it's like a big like sort of it says a lot about the character of Vision because already know how Tony Stark has reacted in the past to different situations, and so I think that's like one reason, because you look at like Justice League and to a lesser extent Batman v Superman, when Wonder Woman showed up in that, and then like Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg in Justice League, they're more like this, like what Marvel would preclude to side characters, like Falcon, although still superheroes and everything, but like those, but you're expecting everyone to take them all as like equals, equally like lead superheroes that could take something on by themselves, but yet you don't give them the time to flesh out to see that actually happening. Whereas like with someone like Falcon or War Machine, yeah, they're always like the sidekick, if you will. But like, even though they're not really a sidekick, but like that's just how they are. That's their character. With like DC, you don't really see that as in Wonder Woman and Batman v Superman, and like the Flash and Aquaman and Justice League. But yeah. My thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I just think they would have had a lot easier of a time if they did introduce all the characters first. Because so far, I mean, I guess Man of Steel I hate with a burning passion, but other than that, like Wonder Woman solo movie, quite good. And I would say, even though I hate Man of Steel, I still think it's better. It's a better movie than Batman vs Superman, and a better movie than Justice League, even though I don't like it. I still think it's better because they're able to focus in on one character and just kind of build that character as opposed to just trying to explain all of this shit to us like really
Right.
quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Like the thing is, you were thinking about it. There's only been 2 solo films in the DC universe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's it. Wonder
and
Woman
that-
and
Man of Steel,
That's
and it
the
started
issue.
in 2013. That's 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
And Suicide Squad is like abysmal.
Right,
I
yeah.
often forget it exists.
Yeah, I don't even think about it when I think of DC movies, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, DC characters end up being a lot more quirky than like characterized in like almost all of the movies, and that's probably because, like you said, they're all group movies.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have like screen time to be serious, or they're just too serious all the time. And the movie sucks because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Why?
Yeah, so yeah, Justice League doing that. Does it for movie stuff this week. Moving on to game stuff. Going back to the Star Wars Battlefront 2 epidemic thing that's kind of raging over the gaming community.
Mm-hmm.
All anyone's talking about.
Loot
Yeah.
boxes.
Loot boxes. So reports are, I think we had mentioned it the past week, but something more kind of what's the term, more real, or like an actual thing to point to. So Disney threatened EA about removing the Star Wars license to EA over the Battlefront 2 dilemma. That reports anonymous source claims Disney threatened EA, making basically more specifically they'd pull the publishing rights to it, meaning Disney or EA would not be able to make Star Wars games anymore unless they got it back.
They should, because EA does not deserve this license.
And then also in this news, I'm just going to go through all this stuff and then we'll
Yeah.
talk about it in general. There's been a Belgium investigation into this on whether it's gambling, and turns out they find it is gambling. So that's going to have some effect on how that is portrayed. And then Hawaii is also looking into the fact of this loot boxes, and then I guess Battlefront 2 as gambling targeted towards children, and would want to block the sale of a game like this to children. Basically calling it a Star Wars themed online casino designed to lure kids into spending. That's what Hawaii's state representative said. And so, yeah, a lot of stuff going around this loot box stuff. So I guess what are our thoughts on these topics, on this kind of gambling stuff? EA potentially losing the Star Wars license.
I think I want EA to lose the Star Wars license because they're not. I guess this is kind of selfish for me. They're not making anything I'm interested in. Absolutely nothing related to the Star Wars license that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Right.
Other than the MMO that's been out for years that I played off and on just to do the kind of plot stuff. But
Right.
I haven't spent money really very much in that game. And stuff like Star Wars Battlefront 2, not interested in that at all. Not even just because of the loot boxes, but I played the beta and just did not think it was good. Like, it was like, I would rather play any Call of Duty game than play this game. Like, when I was playing it, I was like, this just feels bleh,
Right.
It's like they took, it's similar with the first Battlefront reboot. It's like they took Battlefield combat, made it substantially worse, and put a Star Wars skin over it. And that's how it felt this time too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, why would I play this when I can play Battlefield 1?
Right.
Like why? Is it just because there's Star Wars on it? Like, that makes no sense to me. It's like there's enough great Star Wars games in the past for me to enjoy, like the original Star Wars Battlefront 2,
Yeah.
which is still fun to play to this day.
Yeah.
Did you see people on Reddit were trying to get it voted for an award called Better Than the Better Than the Remake?
Oh.
Yeah.
on the Steam Awards. It's
Yeah.
great.
Sorry. But I guess I was gonna say. So going into the Star Wars license thing, ever since Disney bought Star Wars, a lot of people have been saying, this is a good thing that Disney bought them. Clearly, they did well with The Force Awakens, and a lot of people thought they did well with Rogue One. I disagree, but you can go check other whatever episode that was that I said
like
my
a year ago.
opinions on that.
About.
But and then I think the biggest thing that people hated about Disney taking Star Wars was killing the extended universe.
Yeah, that
but
was that was bullshit.
It seems like people like all this new Star Wars content, and I think if I had to say one thing about the Disney thing, that I think the video game stuff has just gotten worse.
Oh yeah,
since
it's not good.
Since Star Wars,
because EA is the only one that does it.
Yeah, and people thought that hey, they'll shut down LucasArts, which hadn't turned out a lot of great Star Wars games or just games in general. And it was like, okay, EA will put their best studios on it and make quality games. Like DICE doing Battlefront, BioWare, etc. Visceral, rest in peace.
It's the only one I was even looking forward to whatsoever.
But like the thing is, like, they still made good games occasionally, like Force Unleashed, obviously the original Battlefront games, Rogue Squadron, and things like that. And then they were gonna make Star Wars 1313, which got canceled because of the purchase, which everyone was looking forward to. But I think this was probably the biggest failure of the whole Disney acquiring the Star Wars property. It seems like, although Battlefront, the first one, was sold really well and people seem to like it, there hasn't been much. Like, a lot of people dislike certain things about it, like the fact that it was only multiplayer, right? And other things like that. And it seems like they've definitely gone downhill with Battlefront 2, and still no updates on any other Star Wars products, or games at least. But yeah, I think this is probably the worst thing that's happened. So we can chalk that up as a failure. Yeah, sort of. That people were worried about Disney taking over, and games probably was a right, at least.
Like they just shouldn't. I don't think they should give like one publisher the sole access, because then you get like, I don't play sports games, for instance, but the little I've heard about it is that sports games aren't that great because EA is basically the only one that makes them.
Yep.
And when they're not the only one that makes them, they get fucking shit canned. Like, they're just like destroyed by other publishers.
Yeah. So
like with I think the NBA properties.
Yeah, there's two. At least as far as I know, only two sports that like have competitors. So soccer. So their FIFA game has a Pro Evolution Soccer competitor, which is one of the most popular games in the world. I think FIFA is also one of the most popular, but soccer. And then NBA 2K.
And 2K is the undisputed ruler of that realm.
Clearly just destroy EA at basketball.
Just, like, EA, like, I guess I've slowly kind of gotten on the EA hate train, I guess you could say, because like they used to put out games that I liked, but now it's like Battlefield 1 is the only one in the past couple of years that is good. Yeah. Like, that is actually a good game. It's like everything that I cared about that is shat on, like Mass Effect, for instance. Like, they clearly did not care, because they didn't put as much resources into that as they did with other games. And they're doing this thing that companies like EA and Ubisoft both sort of do, I think, is that they chase trends. They don't create them. Yeah. They chase them. Like Destiny created a trend. Ubisoft chased that with The Division, which people played for like 2 months and then no one ever talked about it again.
Mhm.
And EA is chasing that Destiny cash train as well with their, with BioWare's Anthem game, whatever that is. But,
Yeah.
And which just looks like a Destiny clone to me. I don't know if it looks like it to
Yeah,
anyone else.
I
But
remember
it's
seeing
like,
that. It was like, Destiny?
it's like, that just looks like a Destiny clone. It's like, why would you play this when you could just play Destiny?
Yeah.
You could just play the better version of what this is probably going to be. Probably with less microtransactions with Destiny 2 than this.
Although there are some.
Yeah. And
It's only for cosmetics, though.
yeah. But it's just kind of like they don't really seem interested in making good games, just like maximizing the amount of money they can squeeze from the players of their games.
Yeah.
Like I if Battlefield 1 had came out this year instead of last year, like I'm pretty sure there'd be some like bullshit non-cosmetic microtransactions in that game.
There already is.
Well, I mean, there's map
like,
packs, but that's
right.
that's how
Map
it's always.
packs,
That's how it's
but
always been.
there's also they've done it since Battlefield 4, I believe. But they do like
like shortcut
upgrade
unlocks,
kits
where you can unlock all of the items
Right.
before.
Ugh.
Yeah, which is dumb, but in that game it's not as bad, I would say, because the guns aren't the ones you unlock later.
There isn't.
Well, actually, you just pay.
like-
You unlock. Yeah, the ones you unlock later aren't necessarily better than the ones you start
Right,
with.
yeah.
So it's not like.
I think the thing with Battlefront 2 is it seems like there's a clear progression system. Like you move up like a ladder, and whereas Battlefield is more like
More open.
yeah, I get it. But still,
Yes.
with loot boxes, it's weird. I kind of want them to say, "Hey, this is gambling," but that's kind of just like selfish things. But that also makes me think of like implications in other things, like is opening a pack of cards gambling?
Yeah.
But in that same thing though, it feels very predatory. What EA is doing, kind of, you feel like you have to purchase this or move up to have a competitive edge, or to at least be playing on a level playing field, and that increases people to buy more things. And the fact that it's random really sucks. Like, I would still think it sucks if you bought something that was like clearly better, like a gun, right? Except it said what it was.
Right.
But I could that seems just a lot better, because you know what you're buying, even though I think would be terrible. Like, it's better because you know what you're buying. In this case, you have to buy randomized loot boxes, and it's like, oh well, I didn't get what I want, so spend more money.
And that's the thing with like trading card games is, sure, there's like packs of cards, but a lot of times there's some way to get a card you want.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Like in Magic the Gathering, you just buy that
you
card.
buy it from someone else.
It's gonna cost more than a pack of the like a booster pack or whatever, but
you don't have to buy the booster pack to get the card.
right.
Yeah. Or like even in like games like Hearthstone, like if you just buy packs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can disenchant your cards you get for dust, and there's like an average amount of dust you get per however amount of packs you buy, and then you can just make the cards you want from that dust. It's not like you have to continually like spend more money until you get the card you're looking for. You can make it out of the other stuff that you got.
Yeah.
And stuff like that I'm fine with, especially with free to play. Hearthstone's free to play, for instance. Like that's a lot better. Or like League of Legends is free to play, but you have to buy the characters. But you know what characters you're buying, or you know what skins you're buying. Like it's not like you're just shooting in the dark.
You could test them out too before you buy them, right?
There's like a
tutorial.
There's free rotations. So like different
yeah.
characters are free different
You
weeks.
just wait for it. Yeah.
Yes, you just wait for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's it's like
People found good ways to do it. I don't know why EA has to be shitty about it.
I don't know. I'm gonna push back a little on people found good ways to do it. I think a lot of EA is a very bad example, but I think a lot of them are pretty bad too.
Sure.
We just don't talk about them as much. They're not as egregious, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're less noticeable, more subtly that people just accepted. I still think loot boxes in general, even though might not be as egregious as Battlefront 2, are just terrible in general. And I think a lot of microtransactions in general are terrible. Almost all of them, to be honest. Like I feeling like so you pay $60 for a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep spending more and more on little in-game things. I don't like that practice.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense for free-to-play games. It's like, okay, because most people, a large majority of people, like 95% or higher, 98%, will never spend money on that game. A lot of people are spending money, $60, on a game like Battlefront 2 and like Destiny 2 and whatever. And then they're not getting the entire package, if you will. They're missing out things. And it's like you're already having people invest $60. Now you're expecting them to invest more time, or not more time, more money. I guess time, money. But I think it's a terrible thing. And it's like one thing, yeah, if you play it a lot, but like that's a very small percentage of people. And that's why mobile games do the free-to-play thing. Work out, what was it? I read a thread. It was like on Twitter, some person who developed free-to-play games talked about how a success in free-to-play is if 2% of players spend money. 2%. And then it's a massive like success, like out of the park, if at 5%. And with these games, you're already spending $60 for that, and now you're expecting an even greater percentage of people to spend money by making something so essential to the game. Even free-to-play doesn't do that, and that's just like, I guess free-to-play can't do that because otherwise people won't play it. So otherwise it wouldn't be free-to-play, and so it's really a lot of microtransactions are just fucked up, in my opinion.
In like $60 games, they're bad, but like in a lot of other the instances where I've actually spent money on them, I think they're mostly fine. Even in like Overwatch, you pay for the game, but it's purely cosmetic. It's not. There's nothing else to it, so it's not like it really matters.
Yeah, and I guess it goes like in Destiny 2, in Overwatch, like it's just cosmetic. Even people who are buying it don't get any kind of edge. Like, you're not really gaining anything other than looking pretty. It's like buying a t-shirt, but it's virtual and you can't touch it.
I prefer those. Like, I think those are better than those other ones, but I'm not a fan of those. You look at like older games, which like Halo Reach isn't even that old. What, 2010? I guess it's 7 years old now. But like cosmetic things you just unlocked, right? Like I get it if it's like DLC or whatever, stuff that wasn't. I guess that happens like 6 months or a year or so after launch or whatever. That, but it's like a lot of this stuff is like it's programmed in the game to be purchased. Yeah, which I think is bullshit. Games, if they have a price tag on it, shouldn't be doing that. It's like I would rather them raise the price of games than do this. I know that's maybe not agreeable by a lot of people, but the thing is like this stuff should be part of the main game. Like DLC made sense because it was like, it was stuff thought after the fact, like it was stuff like the game was finished, but you want extra stuff after you complete the game. Hey, we started working on this after we had already completed the thing, just to give you something extra. But, we put time and effort into it, so, pay us like $10-$20. Like, okay, I understand that. This is like, there's day one DLC, or at least there used to be. I don't even know anymore. They're switching that out for microtransactions.
Yeah, it's all microtransactions.
It's like, now you're getting stuff that's like dumb, stupid shit that should just be part of the game that they clearly did before launch, that they're selling you into pieces, bite-sized pieces, to get you to spend more money. And I'm not sure if like many people have seen this. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, but there was a YouTube video talking about the whole concept that video games cost more now, that they cost more to make. It's harder to make money on these games, where it's actually not the case. They're actually making profits a lot larger. The only real major difference is that they're making less games, so they're spending more money on a fewer amount of games. And so I guess that's why it costs more to make games, but that's just per game and not the amount of money actually spent on games. And so it seems like they're putting all this effort into doing less effort. Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of ironic, right? Putting more effort into less effort.
Yeah.
But they don't have to market as much, like for many different types of games. If you notice, there's not as many middle of the road games. Like there's there's triple A or
like
indie. Well, it's like, and it used to be a thing where it's like people would put out games like I think the most obvious example is Rockstar. They used to make a game every year make at least one game every year for like a decade or more, until Grand Theft Auto 5, and then they got Grand Theft Auto Online, and now they haven't made a single game since.
Well, they don't need to,
right.
Not only do people spend a lot of money in game, but that game still sells. Like it gets top 10 NPD like regularly.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
So you look at that, and that's like the thing, right? They're trying to push games as a service, trying to get you to spend just a shit ton of money on one game so they don't have to make new games. And I think that's dumb.
I mean, it's fine. I guess I don't think that's bad inherently, because like GTA.
No, I don't think having a game, like having people spend a lot of time in a game, is bad. I think just microtransactions and the whole games as a service is kind of just what's it called? A side, like a side effect of this whole microtransaction thing.
Yeah, I mean, people want this in a way, because otherwise they wouldn't do it. Because if people didn't want it, they wouldn't spend money on it. Like I don't really buy like.
Well, you know what it is though. They want to like have that cool skin. Like one guy.
Oh yeah,
everybody has like
wants,
this cool ass
everybody
like
wants the cool
new
skins.
Pumpkinhead Reaper skin from Overwatch. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, this guy has it.
So
I want it too. It looks so fucking cool." And like that's not really that they want it. It's just that they want to be like
they want to stand out. In
some sort of like being included kind of thing. Yeah.
And I mean, that's not inherently a bad thing. It's like they do choose to do that, but
they're like being predatory about it, like you were saying.
Yeah,
like they know that people are gonna react that way, so they do that.
Well, I mean,
of course they do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how
and
you.
they like put it everywhere. Like, look how cool this thing is. Fuck you, give me $5.
Yeah. Well, it's like the whole thing I find that bad about it is that they're, what is it? How do I put this without, like making you feel like you need to.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like a psychological thing. Like, like it's not. Especially with skins, it's very psychological. Like people just like shiny things that look cool, and that's the whole reason I've ever spent money in League of Legends, that and to get characters.
Like I guess one thing if it's a side thing, but like games like Battlefront 2, I feel like you need to basically get the whole experience of the game, which I think is bullshit since there's a starting price point.
Yeah.
The whole game should be worth that price. It's like raise the fucking price then.
See, I guess for me, this is a little selfish, I guess, but like I generally don't buy microtransactions in $60 games because most of the time they're like meaningless. Like except in like the only ones I've ever done that in is like Overwatch. That's the only one the only game I've paid for that I've bought microtransactions.
Well, that wasn't even a full 60. That was like 40.
Why I got the Origins.
So okay, so it was 60. Okay.
Like that, and I guess if you count World of Warcraft, I don't know if that really counts in this capacity, but it's because it's not. I guess it doesn't really count, but Overwatch is the only one. But like I mean, for me, it's like, I don't buy the fucking there's microtransactions in fucking Assassin's Creed, for instance.
Which is dumb.
It's there. Like, I saw them and I was like, who the fuck would buy this? Like, no one sees any of this but you. This is a single player game. Like, why would it matter? Like, apparently people do, otherwise they wouldn't have them. But
Oh
like,
my god.
it's like, I would rather let some fucking schmuck spend hundreds of dollars, waste hundreds of dollars on shit so I can buy this game for $60.
But I don't think that's the case. I guess is talking
Yeah.
about this. I don't think the people spending extra money is making these games cheaper.
Oh no, it's not making it cheaper. It's just like, I just don't want the prices to increase.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
Because
I
they're
don't
making
want it.
hand over fist on this
Yeah,
thing.
like they can stay the same price. I don't care,
Yeah.
but I don't want it to go higher.
I don't think it would, even if we got rid of most microtransactions.
No, it probably wouldn't go higher.
I did,
But
I guess.
There'd be more DLC, but
Remember in
Probably
like
better with
I think
that.
Halo 3, you could like customize your Spartan with like whatever kind of colors, like primary, secondary, tertiary.
yeah,
like,
all that stuff.
In Warframe, you have to buy color palettes.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it's a free to play game, so it's a little bit more accepted. But why the fuck do I need to buy colors?
Because it's a free to play game.
That's
people,
really
and
dumb.
people pay for anything.
It's so dumb.
Okay.
It's like, okay, your
People-
3 colors are red, blue, and yellow. Any other color, $5 per pack. It's like, these are fucking colors. Fuck you for making me buy these.
Well, I mean, yeah,
They get ridiculous.
That's no effort in it. Right?
Yeah.
It's just copying.
They're not even. Yeah, they're not even like making like a cool skin. They're just like taking a color off a palette
right.
and like putting a price tag on it.
Well, I mean,
It does get
it's just-
ridiculous, and I think
it's
in
just
any
people
case,
buy it. It's like, I don't know why they would. That seems
I
a little
think,
dumb.
but I think in any case, you are sending a company money for a random outcome, so it is gambling, and
On
that
loot
should
boxes.
on loot boxes, like if you don't know what you're getting,
I guess,
but that should just be considered, and companies should do a better job and not make. I think EA's issue was that they had this in the game, and they didn't really try with the game. Like, it really did seem like they were like vomiting out the game so they'd have an excuse to put in microtransactions in something that people would buy.
yeah, I mean that's kind
But
of.
in
what
other
that game
games,
is.
And
like
people-
Overwatch, they make a real game,
And people buy
and they have a
Star
team
Wars
that
stuff.
like keeps up with the game and
Yeah.
like updates and like they care for the game, and it has microtransactions, but that's not like the focus.
yeah, the
EA,
focus
that
is
was
the
their
game.
EA, that was their focus. Buy our microtransactions. We're not going to try with the game, like you said, like copy pasta Star Wars on the battlefield. Almost
Star
said
Wars
front.
on the battlefield, except it feels worse.
I get them confused. That's how close they are. Battlefront, Battlefield, fucking same.
I mean, I just, it's a difficult thing because it's not like, it's not, I don't take issue with all microtransactions.
No.
But like, I think,
But I think they should still be considered gambling because that's what they are, right? You can't say they're not.
well, I guess you could, because gambling implies a monetary output,
Right.
which you don't get here. There is no monetary, that you can't sell these things for money. Like you are not, you are not getting
suppose,
money.
yeah.
You are literally just throwing money and getting a random
Well, I
outcome.
think
can sell your
well,
account.
I mean, gambling in general could be considered just spending money on a chance or something, right?
Well, I guess it depends on how you define it, but like gambling, at least to me, what I would consider gambling is things that you are betting money on. You are betting. You are not. It's not like.
So I just wanted
Yeah.
to get the definition since we're talking about
Yeah.
the activity or practice of playing at a game of chance for money or other stakes. The act or practice of risking the loss of something important by taking a chance or acting recklessly.
I mean, I guess I don't really think these fit either of those, because you're not losing. Like you don't stand to actually lose anything. Like, you're spending money on something, but you're not. The gain you get is not monetary. Like, unless, well, I guess you could say that trading card game booster packs are that.
Yeah,
You could say that they
right.
are,
because you are getting something that
because
is of monetary
yeah,
value.
because trading cards, physical trading cards, do have monetary value. But like, if I'm just buying a Overwatch loot box thing to get random skins, those don't have monetary value.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do and they don't, right? Clearly, they do because there's a price on them.
Well, yeah, people spend money to get them, but it's not like there's.
So you know what? They do have a monetary value. I'll say that
Do
because
they
you
really?
have to spend money. Yeah,
you have to spend money to get them, but
clearly.
they don't have value once you have them. They have absolutely like nothing after you
if they
open the
had
loot
no
box.
value, people wouldn't.
No,
buy
they
them.
buy them because they look nice, not because they have monetary value.
Yeah, so it has value to them.
Yeah, it has like appearance value. Not there's no there's no actual monetary value here though.
But that
There's no
but,
none of these
okay,
are
I
worth
don't want to
it.
get into semantics about
Yeah.
values, but like since someone's willing to pay for it, that has value in my opinion.
I guess, but I
like
don't even
like
think
but
I
like
don't
you
even think it
said, the
really-
whole thing with
yeah.
like is Magic the Gathering or any card game where you open booster packs, is that gambling? I think that kind of fits in the same thing with this loot box stuff,
Mhm.
and I agree. I guess like I think I said selfishly I want them to do this, but in reality I don't want them to ban it. But I think this is a terrible practice that the industry is doing that should stop.
I think it's intention is what it comes down to, and practice. Like I said, in EA, it was the focus. Like there's not even really a game there.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
the
the game
campaign's
is there
apparently
to
bad.
validate. The game is there to validate the microtransactions. But in other games like Overwatch, where it's like a afterthought, it's fine. Like if there's a game, if you can remove the microtransactions completely and there's still a game there,
like
then
a,
I
like
think
an
it's
actual
fine.
like a quality.
Yeah, like let's
product,
like
not
even
a-
Magic the Gathering. If you removed booster packs entirely, if tomorrow they were banned,
yeah,
you could still buy real cards. You could still build decks. You could still play other people.
yeah.
The game would live. So that's, if even gambling, it's like a minor form of it.
Yeah, I guess.
And also one thing, even if it is gambling, I think people should be able to gamble.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't.
Sure,
I don't
but
see, I don't
you still
see any
shouldn't target it
problem
towards
with-
children. That is bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Targeting gambling towards kids in any case is like a shitty thing to do and makes you a bad person. It's not arguable. It's just fact.
I don't know, like, I'm unsure how this is. I guess in the future, what I think, because of the response to this particular instance with Battlefront 2,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine most companies will stick to the whole cosmetic,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. so I think
cosmetic
hopefully.
thing.
I mean, in the new Monster Hunter game that's coming out, which I'm really excited for. By the way, it looks really cool.
The which one?
The fucking
The console one? The
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. I can't remember the name of it.
Four? I don't know.
Like
I don't remember.
online. It's like a. Fuck, I know it's coming to PC, which is part of the reason why I'm so excited for it. I was gonna say that they went on
Go on.
record saying that they're not doing loot boxes, and it's because of like the shit that's been going on with EA. Like, I mean, Monster Hunter wouldn't even work anyways, but I think you're right. I think a lot of companies aren't gonna want to do loot boxes in their game, at least solely for the bad
Yeah.
press that it would give them. At this point, you're gonna see people be a lot more careful with it.
Monster Hunter World, by the way.
Monster Hunter World, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, really psyched for it. But yeah, I think like Monster Hunter World, people aren't gonna like. They're gonna be a lot more careful with it at the very least. Probably not gonna have it in their game at all because it's good press. If you can come out and say, yeah, we
So
don't have any microtransactions.
yeah, there's no microtransactions.
Yeah, and people are gonna be like, fuck yeah, and then people want your game all of a sudden.
Yeah. I don't know. This whole microtransaction thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, EA is hitting a big
Fuck you.
sort
Yeah.
of
They killed everything about them that I loved, and replaced it with bullshit.
But like, really, if you took microtransactions out of Battlefront 2, the new one, it would fall apart, right?
Well, I mean,
Because would you be able to get?
You'd have to devise a different way to unlock.
So you
things.
wouldn't be able to unlock gear.
Well, you could, but it would it would
would
only
be
be through
so
in-game currency,
slow.
and it would be incredibly slow,
Oh my god.
like thousands of hours.
it is
So it
like
would be bad,
purposely
is what you're
designed to
telling
get
me,
you to spend
yeah,
money.
it's purposely
Yeah.
designed to get you to spend money on items.
I stand by what I say. If you can't remove microtransactions from your game and still have a good game, then it's bad and it's wrong and you should feel wrong.
Agreed.
Speaking directly at you, fucking game maker companies.
Game maker companies.
Game maker companies, yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
So yeah. Moving on. I think we've
Yeah.
said enough about
Yeah.
this topic.
We kind of exploded over it. I think we're good now. I'm done
I was
exploding.
going to talk about the Avengers project, but I mean, it's a game by Square Enix, but really it's just a release frame. Game's supposed to probably come out at the fall of next year, 2018. Although we haven't seen really anything from it, we just know it exists.
No microtransactions, hopefully.
I mean, hopefully.
We'll see.
So yeah, that does it for news this week. Not much, but very opinions all the way around. Very controversial stuff. Let's get on into the juice.
Sure.
So with the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro, are we actually planning on getting them?
I've noticed with my Xbox One in my living room, it is a Netflix YouTube box, much like my Echo, which I've muted so she doesn't like freak out when I say her name. Alexa, she's just a radio that like is commanded by my voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're so
And a microphone for the government.
yeah, and a microphone for the government so they can hear me like screaming
Masturbate,
about
yeah.
and then like screaming about illegal things, I guess. But yeah, no, I like they're so like specifically purposed. Like I don't use them as often as that like really gives good reason as to why I paid for them, to be honest. Like when I first bought them, like I played the shit out of them because they were new and it was awesome and everyone was on it. But with adulting, you don't have a whole lot of free time. And so I spend all my free time on my computer.
Okay.
And so I don't think I can really, unless if like everyone I know buys one or the other, I guess the larger group, and they're like on it like all the time. Like if people fall off the computer and start playing that, I think I would get one. But if that doesn't happen, probably just gonna stick on my computer, with the exception of the Switch, because I can put that next to my computer and play it. So I'm gonna do that.
I guess I somewhat kind of want to get like the Xbox One X, and that's mainly because like that plus the 4K TV. Like if I had if I was able to work more often and had like a better paying job in general, I'd probably just go for like upgrade, like buying a new computer, bunch of 4K monitors, shit like that.
Yeah.
But that is like substantially out of my price range for like buying anything, whereas Xbox One X plus 4K TV is not as much. So like that maybe somewhere down the next year or two, that might be something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean,
And
even if you just use it for like movies and stuff, you can watch 4K movies.
Yeah. And I mean, I would play
pretty
like
kick-ass.
like Halo and stuff in 4K, of course,
Yeah.
and probably a couple other games too, because I kind of split depending on the publisher. I either get it for my computer or Xbox. Like I generally avoid, just because I don't like using Uplay or Origin. If I'm gonna buy a Ubisoft,
Well, you don't
or
like
EA,
Ubisoft or EA.
but if I'm gonna buy a Ubisoft or EA game, I'm probably gonna play it on a console, just because I especially dislike Uplay, but I don't like Origin either.
I agree, with the exception of The Sims, because that's like, I don't know.
Sims is fun.
That's like the only game that they've made that's like just
it's
it's
fun.
kind of getting
It's The Sims.
dull.
I haven't played one
it's
in many
literally
years.
simulation of life.
Yeah, it's just The Sims.
That's like made fun
that's
of.
it.
But yeah,
That's it. But
no, I think I'll get an Xbox One X. I don't have money, so
Mhm.
I won't be. At
money
least not now.
Money is a difficult thing to get.
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of the Digital Foundry stuff, and that's really got me going for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I play my Xbox as my main console. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get that. Probably not the PS4 Pro. Because,
Yeah, I just have a normal PS4.
Yeah,
I'm only playing exclusives on there anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that yeah, so I think I'll probably get one at like tax return, maybe.
That's when I would if I do. Depends on how much I get back.
If I
Yeah.
yeah. Depending on what else I have to pay for, bills and everything. Fuck them.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I'd probably get an Xbox One. I think I'm most definitely gonna get one.
Yeah.
I play my Xbox a lot, and I think that's where I want to go. Although everyone should play Xbox more often.
I mean, I do, but
Yeah.
it's like I play just Call of Duty, or because Call of Duty does not have a PC audience, as far as I can tell, for multiplayer.
No.
So like that's if I want to play that game, I like have to.
Join me in Halo. I've been playing Master Chief Collection a lot
I
lately.
mean, I play it occasionally. Like if I'm playing Halo now, it's usually Halo 5, just SWAT, because that's
be
the only
down.
one I'm good at.
I haven't touched my
honest.
Elite controller in a very long time, even for my computer.
You do have one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've like used yours before, and like it's cool, but like I don't remap that often. you
Oh,
know?
okay.
Like
Yeah.
I don't do that very
Fair
much
enough.
because most games controls are fine. Like when I plug in the controller,
I just
to
like
my
the
computer.
paddles, honestly.
Yeah, the paddles would be nice, but it's like I love the grippiness to it and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like I already have like 3 Xbox One controllers, and they're fine. Like I rarely play a game on my computer that I use it for.
Yeah.
So it's like even though I think it's cool and I'd like to have one, like I can't justify myself purchasing one of those.
I think I got it back when I made like the big bucks working at Amazon,
Yeah.
who pay their employees infinite money because of how rich they are.
Yeah, I mean that place was good.
Yeah. I mean, the
For
work
that-
sucked.
Yeah, it was awful, but the money.
But yeah, you got
The money.
compensated very well. So
There you go.
Yeah.
that's the only reason I've bought an expensive
Yeah, I
stuff.
think that does it for us this week on episode 124 of the Clever and Original Podcast.
Yeah.
Jay, if people want to find you on the social media sphere, where can they do that?
If you want to find me, mostly reposting stuff on Twitter, you can find me on Twitter at Jayden Reinhart. I almost said at JJ Larson.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah, so JJ, about you.
Find me at Twitter, JLarson107. Or if you're someone who uses Facebook, I'm in like a billion groups, so you might see me around saying some smart comments to people.
Yeah.
But
And then you can find me at Kody Misialek on Twitter. You can find us all at Clever_Original on Twitter. And as you are right now, listen to us each and every week on SoundCloud, iTunes, and other podcast services. And on YouTube, watch the video now. So we'll catch you next week, guys, on episode 125.
peace.
Woo.